we got fucking technical difficulties and
Technical difficulties.
So you're getting new internet tomorrow, and it won't suck anymore, huh?
Yes. And 49ers signed Nick Bosa. More on that after the intro.
What is going on, everybody? We have the Rivalry, a weekly NFC West talk with me, Joe Stevens, and Ryan Shitty Internet No Border Sports. How you doing?
Hey, only that for another day.
Okay, we'll wait till tomorrow when we
Hopefully.
can all finally see your
Yes.
face, because it looks like a cartoon right now. It looks like all pixels, but we're used to that. But no more starting tomorrow. You will be able to see all of the zits, all of
I don't have
the
much
wrinkles. Like me, you can see my wrinkles, the bags under my eyes. Ryan's not going to be able to hide that anymore because he is getting Xfinity, the home of the Rivalry podcast. So
the home of the Rivalry. Yeah. No, I gotta pay like $10 more, but I'm not gonna have to worry about like a signal. It's gonna be piped straight through the wall, like through coax, like you would cable. So I'm excited. Supposedly I'll have more megs, upload speed. So we should be good.
Yeah, Xfinity's hasn't done me wrong yet. I say yet because big fan of CenturyLink for a while, but now that we're the Rivalry brought to you by Xfinity Home Internet, it's been running great. So
we should almost do that. You know what I mean? Because T-Mobile is who I'm using right now, and I don't think they're very good. So maybe we should just like do like an unendorsed endorsement. You know?
Yeah, why not?
Xfinity.
I'm not saying anything wrong.
The not T-Mobile internet.
Yeah, the opposite of T-Mobile.
Yeah, we should do that. We're gonna have to come up with like an ad. We'll have to come up with
so
an
anyways, nothing really happened with the 49ers today, let's be honest. So let's just talk about the
Seahawks.
normal run of the mill. Yeah, let's just talk about them.
Let's talk about Seahawks running back room.
Yeah, let's just talk about and how depleted it is. Go ahead.
That's Go like ahead, the quarterback room conversation for the 49ers almost.
Oh my God, no! The Seahawks would be the Seahawks defensive tackle position would be the issue.
Oh, is that?
That's for another day, or I guess we're defensive. Sorry, we run a 3-4 now. Okay, they're defensive ends. They're not defensive tackles anymore, even though they practically play the same position. They're defensive ends, right? So
they moved over like 6 inches, and they needed a name change.
Yep, can't stand it. So our old defensive ends, they were built like lean, mean, 6'4", 250 pounds, right?
Yeah,
those type of guys, right? Now our defensive ends are 6'2", 310 pounds. It's not. It's all it is a name change. Joe, where's all the Seahawks fans in the chat? I'm glad you asked, Corey. Take a look in the mirror, and you'll see all the Seahawks fans in the chat, Corey.
Oh, Corey. Actually, Corey is a Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders fan.
Yeah.
Sorry, I had to go slow because we gave Corey some stuff there one time for being a Dallas fan. Kind of joking with him, and it seemed like he got a little raw. But he did say he was a fan of the Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders. So I can't get in trouble for saying that. I just said it real slow, so it sounded like I was stopping at Cowboys.
No, Corey, if you want to, feel free to plug your channel in the comments because I do not remember when you're going on. He said, "No, I'm not." He said he's not a fan of the Cowboys cheerleaders.
Yes, he is. He said he was.
Never mind.
He said he was.
Shout out Bryant Culp in the chat here. Go find him at Bryant Culp. Also, shout out CarCast 49ers Talk. Him and Jeff do a show together. Him and Jeff also do a horror show together, which is the scariest thing on the internet. So anyways, let's get right into it. Nick Bosa, $34 million a year. Exactly. That's Jeff. That's all Jeff. Nick Bosa, $34 million a year. Was it too much? And I'll tell you why I think it was. Go ahead.
You think it was?
Yep. Go ahead.
I don't. Because you make it 5 years, and I think it pays off for itself. Because if you plan on keeping him past, let's say, a 3-year contract, then he gets a pay raise at that point. So let's say you're talking about, let's say you give him a 3-year, $32 million. So you beat Aaron Donald, you give him $32 million for 3 years. Okay, so you save $2 million each year, so that's $6 million you save, right? But then he re-signs for, like, let's say $40 million. You know what I mean? Because it's gonna keep going up. People are gonna, even this year, he might get reset. I don't think so, but who knows? So you're talking about 40, maybe even 41 million. That's $6 million over what they're paying him right now. 6-7 million over what they're paying him now, and that would be all in 1 year. So you're talking about, you lock him in for the long haul. You pay him more than you wanted to, but you get him for longer than he wanted, and you lock him in at that higher price. And after year 4 or 5, essentially, his talent, if he continues his trajectory, will be way, way worth that money compared to what other people are getting paid for the same job.
And I think the biggest scare with me, where I would counter that argument, you got to pay the guy. Obviously, you have to pay him. You got to keep him on the team. There's one Nick Bosa in the NFL, right? Let's be honest. There's one Nick Bosa. I think my thing is you guys lucked out because you're not paying a quarterback anything for the next 3 years. If all goes to plan, you're paying a quarterback like what, $1 million a year against the cap. My concern is going to be who gets cut because you can't afford to keep everybody, right? I think that's my biggest concern, especially now paying Nick Bosa $34 million a year, because you guys do have the highest paid halfback in the league, the highest paid fullback in the league. I don't know where Trent Williams is. He's probably going to retire after this season. If you could tell me I'm wrong. He could.
He was the highest paid offensive tackle when we re-signed him.
Okay. I could be wrong. I think he's got a year left. He's getting up there in age, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, I would say 1-2 years. I can't push back on you saying 1 year, because I can see, like, if 49ers, let's say the 49ers win a Super Bowl this year, and we see they gotta let somebody go or trade somebody away because don't have enough money in the cap to keep everybody. Yeah, I see Trent Williams retiring right then and there. You know what I mean? Like, if you can't bring the squad back, then I'm not going to go another year. I'd rather just retire at the top. Wouldn't you?
Yeah. If you guys win a Super Bowl, there's no question Trent Williams is retiring. He's got
unless there's some way unless we keep the team together and there's some way to run it back, You know what I mean? A chance to run it back, because out of all teams, I think we've got a chance to run it back if we don't have bad attrition after the year.
And I think that's one thing that's always scary is like once those guys start getting paid is the scariest part because we saw it with the Legion of Boom. Then you're sacrificing depth, right? Because we can't keep those guys on the team that are supposed to make $4 million a year as a backup cornerback. We can't keep those guys on the team that are worth $5 million a year for rotational depth on the defensive line. And that's what I would worry about if I was the 49ers. If you do not win the Super Bowl this year, I think that's what the Bosa contract concerns me with, because it's almost like having the highest paid quarterback in the NFL to an extent.
But every year we go into the season with most of our defensive line being on 1-year prove-it contracts.
Yeah, not this year with Hargrave.
No, but you're talking about, so let's just say Hargrave is taking up for Kinlaw. They're just their contracts are overlapping. But we'll keep on like Nick Bosa, Eric Armstead, and now Hargrave. We're not going to pay Drake Jackson a lot of money. He's on his rookie deal, but still, like, Drake Jackson wouldn't be a lot of money until like someone maybe like if Drake Jackson starts, popping off and doing great, by the time his contract's done, Eric Armstead might be ready to retire. So he could take the spot of paying that person. And then so we always keep like 3 heavy hitters on the squad and 1 cheap manageable dude as a starter. Yeah. And then everybody else is on prove it deals. You know what I mean?
But here's what happens.
Every year.
Say Purdy's the real deal. You guys think he's a real deal? Not that he's Mahomes, not that he's Burrow, not that he's Allen. Who's a comparable decent starter like Dak? Say Purdy's like
so
Dak.
No. I would say almost like a Danny Dimes contract. Like, he's better than Danny Dimes. I feel he's a better quarterback than Danny Dimes. Danny Dimes, I think, has better arm. You know what I mean? And maybe, I don't know. I think they're both kind of elusive with their feet for the most part, as much as they can be. But I think that's probably a better comparison. Like, they're going to have to pay Brock Purdy something like 40 mil or 45 mil by the time you pay him.
Well, in 3 years, no, because Danny Dimes is making $45 million a year. I think if Purdy shows out, say they win a Super Bowl this year.
Well, he wins a Super Bowl.
It's 55, and then you got 55 tied up at quarterback. You got 34 tied up at defensive end. I'm just saying there's a lot of depth that's going to be lost, and that's where I worry.
I totally understand this. And this is why we draft well. I just don't know if our draft capital is going to catch up in time for when the gaps start opening up. Does that make sense? Yeah. Like getting them lined up to go in and actually being able to do it the 49er way. That's my only concern, really. And I think they need to be looking into it all right now. And as far as the offensive line goes, I don't think they're doing that.
No, and they're a win now team. They're a win now team. If you don't, the more I hear it, right? I think the Seahawks have a 4-year window. If the Seahawks don't win the Super Bowl in 4 years, it's a failure. I think the more I hear from you, Ted, Jess, basically any 49er content creator out there, if you guys don't win the Super Bowl this year, it will be a failure, because
we got 2 years. We got really 2 years to keep the key people together. So we'll have Brandon Ayuk. Well, hold on. We're exercising Brandon Ayuk's 5th-year option, I think, this year. So we have a chance to keep Brandon Ayuk on the team maybe next year. And if we could do that, we'll have all our big guys still on the team for at least
Yeah,
one more year.
yeah, I think we talked about this. Maybe it was last weekend, maybe a couple weekends ago. I don't remember, but I think it was the 2025 free agent class. That is going to kill you if this thing doesn't work, because you got Eric Armstead, Travarius Ward, obviously Trey Lance isn't there anymore, Dre Greenlaw, Brandon Ayuk, Colton McKivitz, Aaron Banks, Isaiah Oliver. I don't know why I know that name. And then Hufunga, Elijah Mitchell, Jordan Mason. Yep. So I think 2025 is really the year that you better pray that the depth is still there.
Yeah. So like we'll have to probably get rid of somebody like not Kinlaw, but Greenlaw.
Mm-hmm.
Because
Greenlaw is a solid linebacker. He really is. I like Greenlaw a lot. I do.
To have any guy next to Fred Warner, it's good to have a guy like Greenlaw next to him who's just, I don't know, I swear he's a harder hitter. You know what I mean? And Fred Warner will lay the wood on somebody, but I think Greenlaw is a harder hitter. And so it's good to have Fred flying around the whole field, putting fear into everybody, no matter what level they're at. Or Greenlaw just putting the fear into running backs that I hope I just get hit by Fred.
So that's what I think.
You know what I'm saying?
I think, so I've always thought, how would you say it? This age class or this era of 49ers football with the linebackers are great. And I always think of Warner as Bobby, obviously. And then I think of Dre Greenlaw as KJ Wright, that guy that doesn't get enough recognition for what he does. That guy that's always there making the play, but if he's gone, you notice he's gone.
To me, as Greenlaw reminds me of like a new age Patrick Willis.
Okay, just that's a big comparison.
Like, even the way like he looks in his pads. You know what I mean? Like his frame, he kind of looks the same. He goes downhill the same. He loves the pain. You know what I mean? Like he's a guy who's looking for the hit always. And to me, I look at him like a new age, not necessarily Patrick Willis, because I don't think he's that level, but he's decent enough to be compared with. I just think he's like a new age because he's really effective in the passing game. Like if Fred Warner wasn't running around next to him doing all the miraculous stuff that Fred Warner could do, you would be noticing all the miraculous stuff that Greenlaw is doing in the passing game after coming downhill on somebody and cleaning house. You know what I mean? Like I think it would be put on display more, but you got somebody next to him who's going a fake blitz up the middle and dropping back into the secondary, essentially to where the safeties are, backwards, and breaking up a play to CeeDee Lamb like 25 yards down the field. That to me is like, how do you shine next to that? You know what I mean?
Exactly. And that's how it was. Obviously different style of NFL from when Bobby was in his prime, but you had Bobby making plays left and right, covering guys. But KJ was, I'd say Warner and Wagner 1A, and then Wright and Greenlaw 1B. I don't put a whole lot of separation between the two, but the national media does.
It's funny, after Willis and Bowman left, and went their separate ways, Seattle had the two best linebackers in the league. And now you guys broke up your pair, and then now we've got the best two linebackers in the, you know what I mean? Like that's kind of cool. Like we trading back and forth on the best pair of linebackers in the league at any moment in time.
And even before Willis and Bowman, it was Lofa Tatupu and Leroy Hill and Lofa Tatupu and Julian Peterson.
I love
those guys were slept on.
He was, oh gosh, like anybody who didn't like him, you were kidding yourself. Not only did he have the hair flying around there, but he was hitting people constantly. I remember he got a concussion. The other guy got should have had a concussion, didn't, but he definitely didn't make the first down. And the rest of that game, you could tell Lofa Tatupu was a little off, but he was still running in and making plays. He had a concussion. He totally had a concussion.
Yeah,
He totally
that
had a
was
concussion.
that was a Holmgren era. That was a Holmgren era Hawks too. So it's like, I do want to ask, what does 62 pineapples mean? Let's go, Joe. Oh, subscribers. Well, thank you to number 62. That would make sense. Thank you. Thank you to subscriber number 62. Sorry, I had to read that out loud just to understand what he was saying.
So pineapples is 49ers terminology for flame emoji because of George Kittle's commercial. Yes. So, well, it's not necessarily, but Bryant Culp came up with it. So I'm just going to I'm going to talk about it like it's a rule. You know what I mean? And like there's no other option. So
Okay, well, Seahawks Eddie says he met Lofa 5 times. Very chill dude. Yeah, Lofa Tatupu came to my elementary school. That shows how young I am. If I was in elementary school when the Seahawks had Lofa Tatupu. Yeah, Lofa was at my elementary school. We did letters to Lofa. So he came to the school and talked to the kids. So that was awesome.
I love me a good poly NFL player. Like any Polynesian guy who's in the pros, who's any sort of who's a starter. Let's just say a starter. I always like them because they're usually, very humble, very hardworking, and they're just tenacious on the field. You know what I mean? Like it's a different person that comes out. They can't give up. They can't ever admit defeat. And it's like a true warrior type culture, essence. I don't know how to explain it, but I always love me a good poly player out there because they play like their hair's on fire. Mm-hmm. And to see them flying around, oh man, can that make like Troy Polamalu? Like tell me you didn't see a Steelers game on and decide to switch to that over another game because your team's not playing because you wanted to see what Troy Polamalu was doing. Because you knew something was going to happen. You knew it. You tuned in to see something happen.
Yeah.
Because they always got something cooking. Like look at Hufanga. We got Hufanga, man with the hair. People tuning into our games because they want to see him do things because they know he's always looking. And we paired another guy right next to him, just like him.
Here's a question,
Jair a little Brown, bit, baby.
A little bit more on topic of today. Are you willing to let Hufanga walk because Bosa's being paid and Purdy's being paid? Because I think that'll be the same offseason. If not, no, I think Purdy's going to be 2026. But are you willing to let Hufanga walk for Bosa and Purdy?
Well, I don't think that it might be coming to an end contractually, and I think we might not re-sign.
Who is
so
that?
I feel that George Kittle.
Okay. Yeah.
That makes sense. There's some money there, but that doesn't make up all of it. And like I said, we're also going to have an Eric Armstead retire at some point in time within the next 2 years. So that's more money off the table.
Yeah, or even just walk.
Because this is the thing too. We've restructured Eric Armstead's contract so much. So if he doesn't retire, we're going to have to, and he gets on another team, we're going to have to pay him all his money up front. Or we can just keep continually paying him like we did D Ford this year. Like we're still scheduled to pay D Ford. He just couldn't get a job on another team, so his money wasn't due up front. Well, not up front, but it wasn't due that season that he got joined with another team.
Yeah.
So
All right.
Yeah.
Well,
Well,
sorry. I'm sorry. I kind of came at you with the fucking uh
no,
Bosa
you're good.
questions. That was just my thought of as being an opposing team fan. Whenever you see an, another team sign a player that's on their rookie deal to a huge contract, you're always kind of like, yes, because you realize that they're not going to be able to afford everybody, and that's
Yep.
just that's just how I feel as a Seahawks fan because we're about 3 years behind you guys when it comes to having to pay players.
And so how the 49ers do it too is they backload the contracts because they're only keeping guys that they have to have. Right? Everybody else is a rookie deal and you can walk. Or it's a prove it deal. You're coming in from another team. You didn't have much luck, so you're getting vet min. You know what I mean? But you've got the chance to make it on the 49ers. And if you do well, you might get your bag next year with another team. So we do that type of thing. So between that, the big thing is do we sign Brandon Ayuk? Because if we sign Brandon Ayuk, then keeping Hufunga while paying for a Nick Bosa and a Purdy at the same time becomes a lot, I think, trickier unless the cap goes up an absorbent amount. So I'll put that one out because that's definitely something that we didn't discuss that if happens changes the math. You know what I'm saying? That changes the math a little bit. Because that's
And
we're
I
bringing
don't
in
know
another
if
big body.
I don't know if I could let Ayuk walk if I'm the 49ers because I think I've told you this before. I'd rather have Ayuk than Debo on my football team
Yeah.
as a wide
Okay.
receiver.
So how do you talk Brandon Ayuk to being on this team for, let's say, 4 years when he wants to be a Hall of Fame wide receiver? Right? If you know anything about Brandon Ayuk, this guy is totally professional. All he wants to do is show everybody he's the best. Okay, hands down. All he wants to do show everybody I'm the best. If he doesn't get that chance in this offense, I don't see him resign. I don't care if the 49ers have the money. I don't see him resigning. I see him going to another place, less money, just to get a better opportunity at getting that gold jacket by getting production. So this is one thing I thought that, and also you got to think Brandon Ayuk's best friend on the team probably just got traded to the Cowboys. That was probably
You
his
think
also
because I
best.
thought Ayuk was a boss. I thought Ayuk was awesome with Garoppolo or with any
Yeah.
quarterback or
Well,
with Garoppolo.
Brandon Ayuk is awesome. I'm just saying his friend.
Mm-hmm.
Like you got to understand, Brandon Ayuk and Trey Lance kicked it all the time.
Mm. Well, money talks,
So
right?
this is yes, but also, like I said, money doesn't talk enough when you're goal oriented and you don't feel you can reach your goals in the situation you're at. And staying in that situation is not going to help you get to your goals because you can't get them there. You can't complete them there. So that's my issue. And I thought we had more of a chance to keep a guy like Brandon Ayuk with a Trey Lance under the helm because Trey Lance can throw the ball farther down the field consistently, making it so Brandon Ayuk can make one guy miss, aka the safety instead of a linebacker, and be in the end zone. And by the time the ball gets to him, it'll probably be double the air yards, which will make it so he'll get more yards no matter what because of where the ball's getting to him. So that was the thing that I thought, and then he could be on a team where everything gets moved around, the ball gets moved around. You don't necessarily, we're not feeding one person. So if he's getting better shots and making multiple, and going down the field with his shots, then he can sit by getting a couple touches a game, but making the most out of it and stacking them yards.
No, I got you.
That was my, yeah. So, and I'm not saying Purdy can't. It's just we haven't seen it. I haven't seen it. A consistent attack in that way. and he got injured. So I don't expect it to just come out of the blue, out of the middle of nowhere. I think he's trying to get back to who he was last year right now. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? So this wouldn't be the year to do it and prove to somebody that, yeah, this quarterback can do what I want out of him. You know what I mean? So, yeah.
Well, I guess let's see. How do you feel about the 49ers on Sunday? Because this is our first rivalry show headed into an actual football game. How do you feel about their chances? What are you looking for? What do you think the final score is going to be? Obviously, you're looking for a win. This is the first time in since January, late January, that the score has actually mattered. So, what are we looking for? What are we kind of keeping our eye on?
I feel better now that Bosa signed, because this makes me feel like, remember when you got into the playoffs, what was it, 2 years ago? And Marshawn Lynch signed with the team real quick.
Yeah, that would have been shoot, that was 2019. That was 4 seasons ago at this point.
So to me, when I
Yes,
saw
Eddie.
that happening, go ahead.
I said, yes, Eddie, I'll be at the game. Are you going to the game on Sunday? Go ahead. Sorry.
What were we talking about? What was I saying? Can you remind me?
4 years ago, when Marshawn Lynch signed with the
Yes.
Seahawks.
So I think I was thinking, I was like, well, I don't think he's actually going to do much like on the field, but I think the presence of him being there is going to give the locker room more of a, confidence. You know what I mean? So it's like the placebo effect. Give somebody a sugar pill and tell them it's an aspirin, and all of a sudden the headache goes away. You're bringing in this guy who hasn't played in forever. He's not NFL ready by any means at this moment. You know what I mean? 2 years removed from the league, hasn't been training like every day, like for it comes in, like he's don't get me wrong, but I wasn't expecting much out of him. You know what I mean? Like, it's just too early a notice to me for that much time off. But I think the psychological effect of him just being in the building, like, it's good, we got this. I think that's going to help us. And I think he's going to be on the field a little bit. I don't think a lot. I'm thinking like 25 to 30%. So to me, that is going to help out, because he is in football shape ish. You know what I mean? He's been training and doing his workouts and whatnot. It's not like he was, taking tequila shots in the parking lot of the Raiders game a couple weeks earlier. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I think. It's going to be that same kind of, it might give us a bump. So I don't know. I just think the Steelers are going to run deuces on us, and hopefully our defensive line can do something and not get moved out of the way, and they can stop guys from shrugging off and going getting a linebacker. That's the main thing. And Bosa doesn't really affect that. You know what I mean? It just doesn't, because you're talking about affecting the tackle. The only thing he can do is break off and go backwards and go meet the hole from the defensive side, which is tough to do, and it takes an athlete. So he can do it, but it's not something I'm expecting. So I think it's a coin flip. They're really good at home on the openers. Go ahead, Joe.
It's Sunday. There's 10 minutes left in the game. We'll say it's at 12:45 p. 12:45 p.m. The 49ers have this many points. The Steelers have this many points. What do you think? What do you think the score is? It's so tough too, because it's week 1. Because honestly, I'm really stoked on the Seahawks going into this game. I think the Seahawks should, on paper, kick the living shit out of the Rams. Let's be honest. On paper, yes, we look like the dominant team.
Yeah.
But it's week 1 of the NFL, and not you guys,
Mhm.
but us. It's a divisional opponent. So who knows Pete Carroll better than any other coach in the NFL? It is Sean McVay. It is Kyle Shanahan. Jonathan Gannon doesn't
Well, not
count
just
because
that,
it's
like,
first year.
week 1, we've seen some of the most craziest games that we would never expect. Like didn't Aaron Rodgers get shut out, like lose 33 to something opening day, what, like 2 years ago?
Yes, against the Saints. It was
You know,
stupid. Yeah.
so you never, to me, you can't predict the opening day game. It's like it's no matter what the math leads up to before the game, the moment it starts, it's a coin flip. You know what I'm saying? Like right before it starts, it just turns into a coin flip.
No, I get it.
So
And then that's yeah. Go. But what's your final score prediction? I guess because I wouldn't even put it that. What's your final score prediction?
Let's go 27-24 Niners. And
Okay.
I've been calling it for the Steelers to win it. But now that Bosa is signed, I'll call it for my Niners.
Okay.
Because without Bosa, I don't think the defense would have been as confident. I don't feel they would have been as confident. And there's a good reason for it. Nobody on the team can make up for what Bosa can make up for.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure right now, tomorrow, or let's see, Friday in practice, I think some of the new offensive linemen are going to be like, oh, shit. You know what I mean? Like, oh, my gosh, where the fuck has he been? Why did he come back? You know what I mean? They're going to be upset. And the defensive linemen, everybody on the defensive line who hasn't played with them before, so like Cleveland Farrell and Javon Hargrave is going to be like, holy shit, this is what the big fuss was about. You know what I mean? They're going to understand, and they're going to be like, oh shit, we got ourselves a team.
You gotta hope. You better hope.
We got a couple guys. Drake Jackson and Eric Armstead is going to be like, see, I told you it was that bad. I told you he was that nasty. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you gotta hope. Yeah. But yeah, I'm just excited for real football to be played tomorrow in about 22 hours. We're going to have a real football game on.
Are we going to be streaming it?
I am not.
Okay.
I can tell you that right now. I'm gonna be honest. The first week, I was originally supposed to do a show with Peo, which you know that. We moved that for Saturday at 5:30 in the afternoon because it just was stupid to have a stream during the first game of the season. But my dad's best friend called me. I was like, hey, will you come watch the game with me tomorrow? And I'm like, fuck yeah, I won't miss it for the world. So we're going to go do that. And we'll have our money on the Lions tomorrow night.
Yeah. No, I think that's some good money right there. I remember we did our pick'ems last week, and I picked the Lions. And
I didn't.
I can't remember.
I don't think they're going to win, but I'm rooting. I'm rooting for them.
Oh, I think the Lions are going to win. Kelsey's out.
Chris Jones. Yeah, still has
Chris
the line.
Jones is out. Yeah.
And here's the thing too: the Chiefs kind of suck at the beginning of the year, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Now, if there's a Chiefs fan in the chat, don't fucking light me on fire or anything. But if I'm not mistaken, they're kind of, the Patriots were that way for a long time too. At the beginning of the year, you were like, oh man, are they still any good?
The last 2 years, people have been like, what is happening to the Chiefs in the beginning of the season? And then at the end of the year, everybody's like, Chiefs can't lose for anything. You know what I mean? It's like it's like the 49ers. You know what I mean? They start off slow.
Yeah, they're the class of the NFL. Let's be honest. It's the Kansas City Chiefs. which 10 years ago, who'd have thought we'd be saying that? It's 2013. Who'd have thought we'd be saying, oh, yeah, the Chiefs are the class of the NFL? No way. Not a single one of us. They just hired Andy Reid, a fired coach from the Philadelphia Eagles. No way. But yeah, they are.
Yeah.
I mean, if there's any team to be, it'd be the Chiefs.
Do we have anything else going on?
Fuck yeah, we do.
Anything big to talk? What's that?
I've been waiting for you to ask. Jamal Adams just restructured his contract today, freeing up $6.62 million in cap space. So the Seahawks are obviously up to something.
How much money do they have in cap now?
Let me tell you. Obviously, Spotrack's a little off all the time.
Yeah.
Let's see. I don't know if it updated yet. Oh my goodness. I'm sorry. I guess I should have been prepared to say that, huh?
It's all good. Do you think they're looking to bring somebody in now, or are they going to do like are they trying to do like a mid-season acquisition before the trade deadline, or you think they're trying to stack money onto the cap for next year?
That's kind of not 100% sure.
I don't know why you would restructure somebody's contract to just move $6 million over to the next year when you're just essentially putting more money on the cap for next year to restructure. So I don't see that. But sometimes people do funny stuff, you know.
So $8 million.
They got $8 million in cap.
Yeah. Which tells me if they're trying to get Jamal, if they freed up $6.6 million, there's a reason why they're trying to free up that $6.6 million. Maybe it's a defensive lineman they're looking at trading for. I don't know. But
trading for, or are any edge rushers still available, or they all of them picked up?
They're basically all picked up. I mean,
okay.
Realistically,
the rest of the bums. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, and then everybody's talking about, oh, will the Seahawks trade?
Not that they're bums. They're just at the same quality.
They're better than you and I.
Yes,
but they're not better than anybody that's on an active roster right now.
Exactly. That's why they're not there. Yeah, that's why I couldn't remember if there was any big names out there, because once we got Hargrave, I was pretty sure. Once our 53-man roster was set and in camp, I knew that's who we're sticking with. We'll make a move mid-season maybe if there's something that helps us.
So let's be honest as Seahawks fans. The secondary set. The linebackers are set. Running back set. Quarterback set. Wide receivers, tight ends, good. The only thing I could think is maybe bringing in a defensive lineman. But some people are saying Chris Jones. No way we're giving that guy the money that he wants.
I think that would be a bad decision for you guys in your stage of building.
Yeah, and he's 30.
You know
and he's 30 years old. It's not like this guy's 25. He's not 26, 27. He's 30. So
making a move like for Chris Jones is like, that's something you do when you know you're one piece away from winning it all, and you're trying.
Yeah, if we have Patrick Mahomes at quarterback, and we have freaking who's the best left tackle in the game other than Trent Williams, who's a younger guy.
Probably
basically, if we have a cornerstone left tackle and all the weapons we have, and Patrick Mahomes, yeah, you go after Chris Jones right now. But we're not that team. We might be the most balanced team in the NFL. We might be, but we don't have the superstars.
Like 49ers trading for Christian McCaffrey last. That was a let's go all in type of a move.
Well, yeah, mid-season we might be, though. mid-season we might be.
Yeah.
So maybe that's why they freed it up. Because
Mhm.
I'm not gonna lie, if the Seahawks are 6-2 mid-season, it wouldn't shock the shit out of me. Now, if we're 3-5 mid-season, it wouldn't shock the shit out of me. So it's just let's see how it goes. Let's see how it goes, guys.
If you're on a good run and you know there's a position you can upgrade, you spend some draft capital and some money on it, you might be able to get yourself further down the road and in the playoffs. You know what I mean?
Yeah. All we need to do, for one, I'm not thinking about the playoffs right now. I'm just thinking about playing the Rams this weekend. I'm thinking about, I got to set my fantasy football lineups. I got to make my pick and picks. There's real football on TV. I'm so excited. Honestly, I kind of don't want the playoffs to come. If it was week 5 in the NFL every week for the rest of the year, I think that's probably the happiest week in my life, right? So, or we'll just say week 8. I'm fine with week 8, 365 days a year. So,
Yeah.
I mean, it's true. Mid-season's the most fun. I realize when you got a hell of a team and you're making a playoff push, yeah, it's fun. But when it's just every team's playing on Sunday, it's something else. It really is. It's awesome. So
it's back, baby. It's back.
Yeah, it's back. Also, Seahawks Eddie, if you're still here, I see you'll be at the game versus Carolina. If you want to meet up and get a beer or something, you know how to find me. So just hit me up and we'll link up. I'm actually taking my grandma to that game, so if you'd like to meet my grandma, hit me up. I'll be at the game.
Does your grandma drink beer?
What?
Does your grandma drink beer?
She is a recovering alcoholic, so no, she does not. My grandma did for a long time.
Okay, I was gonna say, because Seahawks Eddie, how could you pass up an offer to drink a beer with Joe and his grandma? But now that we know that grandma's not as much fun anymore. No, I'm joking.
She used to be. She used to. Seahawks Eddie, if you're still, like I said, if you're still here, my grandma was the life of the party for a long time. If you'd have caught me 3 years ago and asked if my grandma was going to the Seahawks game, oh yeah, she'd party harder than I did.
Yeah, no, some people just shouldn't do it for their health. Some people shouldn't do it for other reasons, and that's just, hey, that's perfectly fine, and more power to them for being sober. I just want to point that out. There's no shame in being sober from things.
No, for sure.
None whatsoever. Well, I was making a joke like she used to be fun, and I just wanted to clarify that just because you don't drink or you know what I mean, that you're not fun, because that's BS.
Well, that's not okay. Yeah, I'll stick away from that topic. Brian, I don't know who we're starting quarterback this weekend. Maybe it's Drew Lock. I'm just kidding. Yeah, obviously it's Geno.
No, is he talking about fantasy?
Oh yeah. Yes, I will be starting Geno Smith this weekend. If it is fantasy, me and the Seahawks will both be starting Geno Smith this weekend. On our real football team and our fantasy football team. I want to give
I'm starting Lockett.
I think I am in 2 of my leagues. I'm in 7 fantasy football leagues, dude. This sucks.
Hey, real quick, what do you expect Noah Fant to do this season? Because I just picked him up.
Nothing.
Shit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. He'll probably catch for 400 yards and 3 touchdowns, if I'm being honest.
God dang it.
I want to give a big shout out to Georgetown Brewing. They came out with a new beer, and it is quite possibly the most delicious beer I have had in years. I mean, maybe in my whole entire life. I don't know. It's called You'll Get Nothing and Like It, like off of Caddyshack. And boy, I'll tell you, if you like the Bodhisattva, you will absolutely love this beer right here. So if you're around the Pacific Northwest in the area, go pick it up because it is delicious. So
I'm gonna have to go see if we got any down at my store.
you know where I found this was Rite Aid. My wife was
Oh
getting
well,
some medicine.
the Korean gentleman that owns the store, the New York Giants fan, obviously. Yeah, well, not obviously, but yeah, because you guys know about me going down to the store and you've seen him anyway. So that
Oh, you mean
gentleman,
he's
he's got
Korean? Oh yeah, for sure a Giants fan. I'm kidding.
yeah, no, I just had to preference that just because you're a New York Giants fan doesn't mean you're a Korean gentleman. Anyways, no, there's clearly two distinct sections of the beer. There, all the mainstream stuff. So you're talking about you got the 40s and the malt beverages, you got the mics, you got the Blue Moon and all that, and then you got like four coolers of craft beer, ding 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 ding, of all the good stuff. So every time I go to get beer, if I'm getting my juice force, I gotta go to the front part. But any other time, like if I'm getting my what was it? What's that one beer? The Hucket. If I'm getting Hucket, I gotta go to the back there. I like it. I like it back there. They got good beers back there.
Yeah, so it's about 51 minutes in. We both got to hop on Corey's channel.
Yeah. Yes.
What are your plans for the weekend?
I'm trying to figure out how to get this game going and play it, but it looks like I'm going to have to go another route. So I'm trying to figure out how to play this game and stream it at the same time. And it's just a Google App Store game, right? So this is my dilemma right now. So I think I found a way around it. I just spent $60 on a Xbox controller that I don't need, but maybe I can use on my phone now. As I play. But yeah, that's where I'm at. I'm going to be trying to do that. We've got the Friday night show. I think I'm first up on the Friday night show. I'm probably going to hopefully stream the show tomorrow, the game tomorrow with my new internet and have a fuck you T-Mobile's cast.
Yeah, why not? Fuck T-Mobile.
You know what? I should put that in the title of the show.
Hashtag
fuck you T-Mobile.
Hashtag fuck T-Mobile.
Yeah. And then, yeah.
Fucking sweet. Gonna watch the Niners on
Sunday. 10
a.m. Santa's coming to town.
Yeah.
I got a show with PAO time Saturday, 5:30 Pacific.
Oh, there we go.
Obviously, the Hawks are playing the Rams this weekend. Hawks are playing the Rams this weekend. We're going to talk about what to look for, what we're expecting, basically why our teams are going to win this game and the other teams are going to lose. It'll be a bloodbath. No, I'm joking. It will not be a bloodbath at all. He's Canadian. He's like one of the nicest people I've ever met.
Yes.
Yeah, other than that, going to hit up the casino on Saturday morning, place my Sunday bets at about 8 a.m. My friend's girlfriend just dumped him, so we are going to I'm going to take him to the casino, and I'm going to show him how to bet on college football. So that's tight.
Oh, bro, parlays and beer.
Basically, all parlays, only beer. Yep.
Well, you shouldn't do all parlays. You shouldn't do all parlays, but I like parlays because you can. It makes you interested in watching multiple games at once.
See, and here's the thing that sucks.
You gotta bet there, and it gives you something to do. It gives you something to track.
So here's the thing that sucks is I wish we had 3-day weekends. Like, actually, I will, because me and my wife's anniversary is Monday. and I'm going to take that day off of work. But I do wish we had 3-day weekends, just because I feel like there's not enough time to do everything that I want. So like Saturday, I'm talking to my wife. It's like, okay, dude, we can go to the UW game for $25 a piece. Like, it'll be $25 a piece. Go to the UW game. But then again, I kind of want to go to the casino and make bets. Like, that's my Saturday ritual. So I think I'm gonna not go to the UW game on Saturday. I'm gonna go to the casino instead and just lose a bunch of money on college football. Yeah, that's it.
I think as a society we should either go to 4-8s or we should go to 5-6s.
Or 6-12s.
But get paid like no, get paid for like 40 hours. So you know what I mean? Like things should be like a 32-hour week. Because let's face it.
See, I'm the opposite.
They're not.
I'm a 5-10 guy through and through, and I make my own schedule. So I just
no. I'm perfectly fine with that. I'm talking about most jobs. They're like just teams, and they don't pay you for shit.
Yeah,
to me, I think
punched a time clock in my life.
they should. I think they should cut down the hours. Because, like, look, the way I see this, the last 2 hours of your shift are like the worst and your least productive. So,
unless you love
in an
job.
8-hour shift. So,
unless you do love your job.
Yeah. But that's very hard when you the average people, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
To really love the job that they're in. So that's what I'm saying. If you, like in Europe, they got like 2 months of vacation and shit. Like, wow. Like, I'm not saying with that, but how about you give us a little more time to ourselves and you keep the most productive time? You know what I mean? That's why I'm saying like the 5-6s, you keep the most time of the week for you. And then you give us off the rest of the time to enjoy our life more and appreciate you more. You know what I'm saying? Like,
well, here's my thing with that, and I don't.
Plus,
I don't
also people could get 2 jobs at that point. You could get 2 jobs at that point. Work 12-hour days.
Well, I don't think this is political with you, or I don't think this is a political conversation. So we'll just keep going. Here's my idea of work. You go to work, you get the shit done that needs to be done, and then you go home. How about that? Not a set schedule. I hate set schedules. I don't have a set schedule. I never have had a set schedule since I've been 18 years old. Just go to work, get your shit done, and when you're done, go home, and then write how many hours you work. How about that?
When I was in the beer business, I remember the first time I was doing my pay stubs. I was like, I got back at like 3:17, right? So I wrote the 3:17 down. My boss looked at that. I go, what the hell is that? That's the time I got back. It's like, that's 3:30. I said, do you want me to average it out with tomorrow? And he's like, no. Like, no, you put that down. You know what I mean? And it was like my buddy Rusty Knuckles, right? He had to go pick his kids at like 1:00 in the afternoon or 2:00 in the afternoon on Fridays. Fridays was a big day. So he got up and going at the butt crack of dawn. And I would come in halfway through his day and help him throw the rest of his day. Well, about 2/3 of the way through his day. And we would go throw all his stores together. And then he would go and take care of get his daughter. And I would go and help the truck driver who was the most bogged down, who had the most of a stuck bag. And then I would go crank things out. Sometimes they put loads in the back of my van. And I go drop a stop for him. So it was, but it's, to me, like there's 2 different types of work. And look, I loved doing the beer stuff at times. It was great. Like having my cases thrown at my face over and over again as fast as possible. And like the competition of stacking them like the right way. So the words are, yeah. So mid-flight, they're coming to you as fast as possible, and you're figuring out not only when you catch it, if you need to flip it and turn it. You know what I'm saying? So you need to flip it and turn it when it's side down, and you just back and forth. That to me was, I loved it. I loved it. I don't know why. I don't know why, but the thought of being efficient was just awesome. You know what I mean? Like, we're hella efficient right now. When you could downstack 2 pallets of 18 packs, which are about 100 each. So you're talking about 218 packs in, I don't know, 3-4 minutes. I mean, it's a thing of beauty to see.
Yeah.
Like, it's getting thrown at you and you're like suspending it in space, and then either flip and turning it or just dropping it right on the stack. You're just freezing it in time, catching it, freezing it, and then just letting it essentially drip in its place as you're grabbing the other one out of air, freezing it and stopping it. It's just, it's some crazy looking stuff, bro. I'm telling you, I loved it.
Fuck yeah.
Dude, we'd get, okay, you'd get rained on outside of the convenience stores, down stacking the beer, right? You'd be totally drenched. We'd go inside in the cooler and stack the cooler, and by the time you walked out of that convenience store, you'd be dry again.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because you work so fast, and the coolers suck moisture out of you. So like you're cranking in your clothes, and your clothes are heating up, and it's just sucking all that moisture out of your clothes and into the cooler. Crazy.
And how awesome is that?
But yeah,
I do want to give a big shout out to my cousin on here, Bill Graff. If you don't follow him and you're in the comments, follow him, because he has some fucking killer music. He's in a band. And yeah, so go follow him for some.
Is he a Seahawks fan?
Fuck yeah, he is.
Bill, tell all your homies. Get your homies to subscribe to Joe Stevens Seahawk Talk. I know that's your cousin and all, but Bill, we got more 49ers fans who tune in to his Seahawks channel, and it's because we really appreciate Joe. We don't want him to stop streaming, but Seahawks fans need to dominate this chat. So please, please
fucking need to
help me. Yes, they do.
But anyways, are you about to hop on Corey's?
Yes.
All right. So, sweet guys. Well, we will see you next Wednesday. Actually, we'll see you Friday on Ryan's channel and somebody else's channel. Just go find him on Twitter, and you'll get it.
David McNiner.
And then Saturday we will be on Brian's channel in the morning, and then regardless, fuck it, we'll be here. You'll fucking find us.
You're with Peo.
So I will fucking see you guys next Wednesday. Thank you guys. Go Hawks. Go ahead. Say what you want.
Go Niners. Fuck the Lambs.